Brand new expert picks presented by FanDuel, picking every game in the NFL this week. 6 teams on byes, 4 of them in playoff position. The biggest game is the very first game. It's the Packers at the Lions in the NFC. You also have a really big one in the NFC West on CBS. It's the Seahawks and Cardinals. As we look at how we did last week. It's still pre-Ozempic Pete in the picture because he still has not had a winning week since week 4.
That's not true, is it?
Week 6.
I've been on.
Feels like week 4.
I've been on one of the coldest runs I've ever been on in my life picking these games. It's incredible.
But Kyle has done it again.
Kyle's on fire. I think, you know what? Afterwards, we're going to go outside. We're going to set you up with a tout service. You're going to start giving out picks for pay. We'll give you like one of those phone services.
Our producer Jack was Googling what the winning percentage that sharps usually get is. 55%. I'm not quite there, but I can put sharp in your best
bets. Your best bets, you're killing the sharps.
I'm just saying, man.
You're a sharp.
I just picked the Lions every week.
I'm a fool. I'm a moron.
Except for this week.
My picks have been so bad, it's unreal. And even when I pick a good game, like last week I had the Jets, going to make it 28-7, the game's over, and he throws one into Leonard Williams' stomach, and he goes back 95 yards or whatever for a touchdown.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, so anything and everything that could go wrong is going wrong. So I tried a little different formula here this week. Yeah.
What's the different formula?
I'm not going to reveal it until next week.
I'm interested to see the results.
Let's start with Thursday Night Football, Packers and Lions, as we get them picked, Kyle Long and Pete Prisco. A Green Bay win would really tighten things up, not just in the division, but for the race for that bye in the NFC.
Yeah, I like the Packers in this game. And you talked about the injuries on the Lions defense. There are so many. I mean, even the replacements are going down. Malcolm Rodriguez goes in as the linebacker for Anzalone, and now he's out for the year. The defensive line has suffered so many hits. Look, they're going to score their points. Green Bay's going to give up some points, but I think Jordan Love's going to go in there and keep them in the game and maybe even win it, so I'm going to take the Packers.
Yeah, the X factor here is Matt LaFleur and his ability to stay balanced and explosive. They obviously have a guy at the quarterback position on the screen right there, Jordan Love. He can do most things as a quarterback, and then Josh Jacobs in the running game. He can do everything, and it's all brought together by the core, that offensive line. They've done a really good job this season. You and I talked about it on the podcast earlier. Big guys matter. I know Detroit has big guys, but Green Bay does too, and I really trust this Green Bay unit to get this win.
Look at the number there. 14-1 the Packers are to win this division. Pete, you think they can catch Detroit?
Well, they're all going to start cannibalizing each other a little bit, so we'll see. The division will start playing each other a lot more. Yep. It's going to be interesting.
You didn't answer the question.
Do I think they can? If they win this game, they can, and I think they can win the game.
If they win the game, they are within 1 game of first place. Let's go to Sunday Night Football, and this is another really good one as well. It's the Chargers at the Chiefs, and the Chargers are actually getting 3.5 points here. Chiefs have not won a game by more than 3 in a month.
It should be a pick 'em, but, you know.
It should be. You get home field advantage, you get 3 points, so they technically think it's a half. They think they're even teams, basically. And when you watch the Chiefs, you understand why. But the Chargers are playing consecutive road games. And they played on a Monday night, went to Atlanta, played, beat the Falcons, now go back, and now they got to go back out on the road. It's tough to do. It's tough to do. It's a tough turnaround. I think the Chiefs, everybody wants to bury the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs. You know what the Chiefs are about?
Winning.
They're about the postseason. You know, winning close games is one thing, but it's about the postseason. It was the same thing last year. Everybody counted the Chiefs out. What did they do? They ended up hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. They will get it right, and they do need to get the left tackle situation sorted out. And at some point, DJ Humphries is going to be in there playing the left tackle spot.
Can't wait to see that.
They need that.
Everybody that wears red in the state of Missouri and the state of Kansas, rather, I've made this mistake before. Kansas City is kind of in both.
Right.
They're all wanting DJ Humphries out there because that left tackle spot will be the make or break deal for this Kansas City Chiefs. If they don't win a three-peat this year, it will be because of the left tackle position.
And Mahomes has been sped up in large part because of the left tackle position.
They're going to get healthy. I am picking the Chiefs here.
Me too.
I don't want to be on that highlight reel at the end of the year doubting the Kansas City Chiefs again.
They'll win this game, and they're going to get right as we go on in through December and into the postseason.
You guys have been saying that for a few weeks now, and it just hasn't happened.
W, it's all that matters. Get a win, move on. Get a win, move on.
It wasn't a W a few weeks ago.
Well, that was at Buffalo. That's one of the better teams in the league, too.
Yeah.
That is true. Let's go to Monday Night Football. It's Bengals and Cowboys. It's because they couldn't flex out. You know the story? They couldn't flex out of this matchup because they planned some kind of Simpsons cast for this game.
Yeah.
Pete, does that interest you at all?
The Simpsons cast?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Does the Cowboys Bengals interest me? Yes, in large part because the Cowboys are still alive.
Oh.
Yeah, and nobody wants to admit that, but they are still alive. Now, they have to win this game, obviously, and this is one of the tougher games that they have on their schedule. But if they win this game, all that talk of everything that's gone wrong, they're going to be in the middle of the playoff chase, and they could get to that wild card spot. I think they're going to find a way to hang in this game. I don't know if they're going to win the game, but I think they find a way, hang in the game, give me the Cowboys and the points. They got guys back. You know, Bland's back, Parsons is back healthy again. Mozzie Smith actually played good last week. They're getting better on defense, and I think they'll hang around in this game.
I just can't in good conscience pick against Joe Burrow, but this is -5.5 for the Bengals. That's a lot of points, but I do think it's going to be tough to match production of the Cincinnati Bengals, but I'm the idiot that said that Russell Wilson wouldn't be able to match production with Joe Burrow this past week. Give me the Bengals in Dallas.
That Bengals defense is so bad right now.
Yep.
Really bad. They might make Cooper Rush look good.
Cowboys need to win this game to get within 2 games of that last
He hasn't
wild
looked
card
bad,
spot.
by the way.
No, he hasn't
looked
looked
bad.
No,
Cooper
but
Rush
they might
has
make
been
him
more
look
than
really
serviceable.
good.
You really think that the Cowboys could catch the Commanders?
I mean, they
That's
play
who they're
him,
going to have to catch.
and they
They're
play him again, and they beat him again. I mean, if they beat him again, they beat him once.
Okay. Commanders are 8-5. They're one of those teams on a bye. Cowboys looking to get to 6-7 and get within 2 games there. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can watch us live over on CBS Sports HQ each and every Tuesday, making these picks at noon Eastern time. Pete wanted to do it on Monday, but we said, Pete, there's still 1 game left in each week. We have to wait until every game is complete.
Basically making the picks on Monday these days. So.
All of our picks made in less than an hour. All right, these 2 teams, Steelers, Browns, played a snow game a couple of weeks ago. Pete loved that.
Ugh.
Browns got the win. Jameis Winston is putting up some numbers. And so is Russ, by the way. They match up again. Continuing our expert picks presented by FanDuel. And here's a look at our CBS games this Sunday. 4 in the early slate.
You didn't do it.
No, he didn't do it.
And 1 on the late.
Did you get a call from upstairs?
Yeah, they said don't. No.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
CBS.
There you go.
I really like that late game, 4:05 Eastern. Seahawks
yeah.
Big day.
Cardinals.
Big game.
Seahawks alone in first place in the division. We'll pick that one a little bit later. We're going to focus on the 1 p.m. games here with Pete Prisco and Kyle Long. Let's start with Browns and Steelers. And you look at the stats last week. Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson combined for over 900 passing yards.
You know, I love the way the Browns played, though, the other night against Denver, because if they had lined up and run the ball, they weren't going to run the ball consistently. So they just threw it on every down. And they realized that they were down starting corner, and they took advantage of it.
Feast or famine.
And Jameis Winston played well in that game, but he also did his usual Jameis by throwing 2 pick sixes. But I don't think he's going to throw pick sixes in this game. You know why? He asked the Lord to please stop him from...
He's going to get some help.
He's going to get some help. You didn't hear that?
He asked the Lord to please don't let me throw another pick six.
Yeah,
Yes.
rid my skill set of the pick six.
Yeah, at the post-game press conference. So the big man above has nothing else to worry about but his pick sixes. So he's not going to throw any this week. And the Browns are going to stay in the game. I'm taking the Browns because the big man above is going to watch out for the pick sixes.
Well, what did Russ ask him for?
I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, you know, they're a team that can play any style of football game at this point. Going into this game last week, I was like, well, they're going to get outgunned by the Cincinnati Bengals group. You can't keep up. And no, and Russell Wilson goes out there and does just that. It's the defense, which we've seen the success of this team predicated on, but now the explosive nature of this offense gives them a total package. The Pittsburgh Steelers, scary group. I've got them in a divisional rivalry winning it.
He played well last week, but again, it's against the Bengals defense, so you got to put a little asterisk next to it anytime you play them.
So you really are picking the Browns because of what Jameis asked?
No, I'm picking the Browns because I think they'll hang around in the game. I think he'll play well enough. I'm being sarcastic with that, by the way.
They were hamstrung so bad by Deshaun Watson early in the season. We were begging for Jameis Winston. This is why, because
you think he's going to get his wish?
Even with his warts,
I don't know. A lot of people asking Santa for things this time of year, so why not ask the big man? Let's go to another CBS game at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's the Raiders at Bucks. Bucks favored by 7 here. Pete, I know you've loved the Bucks from the start. Last week scared you a little bit, but they have pulled even now with the Falcons in the division. And
I think they're going to win the division. I think they're going to be a dangerous playoff team. I just think the Raiders are going to hang around in this game. I think when you look at the way Aiden O'Connell played, he was really good last week. Much better than that other guy who was starting, Gardner Minshew. He threw the ball around, played well. but I think Crosby will be able to impact this game like he always does, and I think they're going to hang around. The number's a little too bloated. I think the Bucs win, and when the Bucs win and keep winning, they are going to be a playoff team, and come the playoffs, they're going to be one of the most dangerous teams in the postseason in the NFC. Everybody's going to be scared to play the Bucs.
Mike Evans looks like Mike Evans again. Baker Mayfield's confident. The running game can go. I like this group a lot. They understand their backs are against the wall. They got to win, win, win. 7 points is a lot, but I'll still take the Buccaneers. I trust Baker Mayfield 7 days a week, man.
Mike Evans playing his way into the Hall of Fame, Pete?
He's working his way there. He's working his way, but I think he's going to be there. But everybody acts like he's a slam dunk.
He is a slam dunk.
We have wide receivers in this year that aren't slam dunks. Steve Smith, Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt. They can't get in. They have better numbers than he does. They're not slam dunks.
Mike Evans and Jerry Rice. Right there, 1,000-yard season. So was it 11 straight if he gets another one this year?
Yeah, but he has to get
Fit
more
him for
catches.
his gold jacket. Get him in there.
He'll get in. It's just not. Everybody says first ballot, but it's hard to get receivers in.
There's too many players. There's too many players to be slam dunks anymore.
Yeah.
But if he played for the Jags, you'd be
No, he wouldn't.
pounding the table
that
for him.
desk, bud.
No.
Keenan McCardle, get him in.
Nope.
He's a former Buck, as you know. Let's go to the Jets and Dolphins, also CBS, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Dolphins had that 3-game winning streak snapped, and now they're 2.5 out of that last playoff spot.
By the way, I think Keenan McCardle has more catches than Mike Evans, just to put that to
Evans isn't done yet.
Here we go, buddy.
Why'd
you get him started?
I'm going to take the Dolphins in this game. What I saw from the Jets last week, they had a kickoff return for a touchdown, 2 fumble recoveries on kickoffs that turned into point-blank range and points, and still lost the game. They're not very good. Aaron Rodgers has been terrible. I think it's over for him, and I'm going to take Miami. Miami can still score. It's not going to be cold. It's going to be colder down here than what we're used to.
It's been chilly.
It's vest weather.
Oh, it's awful. Get me back to my
like
90s.
55 degrees
It was terrible.
this morning.
Terrible.
I had to put on my Travis Matthew vest and the long sleeve.
Well, there you go, bragging about it. I'm going to take the Dolphins in this game. I think Tua puts up a number. They play well.
Yeah, I got the Dolphins as well in this game. I just feel like when they are right offensively, it's hard to keep up with them. They're going to be at home. They're going to be able to do their pre-snap communication. Give me the Dolphins.
I don't know. It might be too cold for Tua. I mean,
stop.
If you look at those cold weather games, they just are not the same team. It's a fact, and they're talking about we're not soft and all this stuff. Well, until you prove them differently, they're going to have that reputation.
Let's move on to the Jags and the Titans. And Pete, the hit on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, do you shut him down the rest of the season?
I would shut him down.
Eliminated.
I would shut him down the rest of the season. Look, he already had an injured shoulder. Probably shouldn't have come back. Came back, played, didn't look the same. He wasn't playing very well before he got hit in that game. He goes out. Mac Jones came in and played well. But the Titans, when I look at the Titans, Will Levis, and you're going to get mad at me, but he's making progress, a lot of progress. And I think this secondary in Jacksonville is vulnerable. They put a lot into winning last week against the Texans at home, coming off their bye. I think Will Levis plays well, and I'll take the Titans.
I like the Titans, and I enjoy Will Levis. He is getting better, but it's that defensive front that I think makes life difficult for Mac Jones, and that's why I'm going to be picking the Tennessee Titans. And to your point about Trevor Lawrence, shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down.
And by the way, if they shut him down and they don't win another game, they'll be picking first overall. It's the first time in the history of the NFL that a team has picked 3 times first overall in a 5-year span.
Unbelievable.
But the general manager's still hired.
And if they do get that first pick, you think that they should take what?
They trade down and take maybe, then you can take maybe a guy like Travis Hunter and make him play corner.
You don't want him playing wide receiver?
You can play both, but he's going to be a corner.
Let's go on to the Falcons and the Vikings. Falcons are 6-6. They're atop their division. Vikings are 10-2. They'd have to go on the road in the playoffs as of right now. They've won 5 straight. Falcons have lost 3 straight. And Kirk Cousins, I mean, his arm looks dead.
He looks awful. And this is a revenge game. He's going back to face his former team. Oh, Jamie Eisenberg loves revenge games.
I bet he's not the start of the week.
I bet he's not either. But this is obviously a situation where the Falcons, some people are calling for the Falcons to make a change and go to Michael Penix. I don't get that.
Leger was calling for that yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Leger's never had to play against Brian Flores' defense.
Yeah. And not only that, you're in the playoff chase. You're going to bench your starting quarterback and put the rookie who's never started a game in. It makes no sense to me. If he has 2 or 3 more games like he had last week, and he was awful last week, then I think you might consider it. But right now he plays, and I think he plays well in this game and hangs around. I think he keeps him in the game, and if he doesn't, there's going to be a lot of people calling for Michael Penix. The Vikings do know the secret to stopping him, though.
What's that?
Big game. Hey, Kirk, big game, big game, big game. Next thing you know, he does what he did last week.
I can't, in good faith, pick the Falcons with how they've been playing recently. I also can't say that Michael Penix should take over this week. When, as an offensive lineman, it's hard enough to play in the NFL when you're just blocking one guy. But when you're looking at 7 dudes at the line of scrimmage, it's like, who do I got? Who's your guy? Who's that? If you have a rookie quarterback who's trying to get the play call in, trying to make adjustments, trying to make protections, that is not very good. So I don't anticipate it being Michael Penix this week. It won't be. But you could make that move next week.
All right, let's move on to the Panthers and the Eagles. This is the biggest spread of the week. We've got it at 12.5 here. Pete, you've kind of softened on Bryce Young a little bit, but you want to see him do it against this team.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, he's played well and better and improved, but now you go out on the road against this team and that defense. Let's see it. If he goes in there and throws for 250 and 2, then I'm going to sit here and say, you know what? Maybe I was significantly wrong about him, and he can be a legitimate starting quarterback. But if he goes up there and, throws for 120 and gets picked 3 times, then we're back to the same old narrative about him. So it's a big game for him. It's the one thing, it's a big number. I'm concerned about the Eagles coming off such a big emotional win over the Ravens. And so when you do that, what happens? Do you come down a little bit? I don't think so. I think this team is focused right now. I think they'll run the ball and have success. I like the Eagles in this game.
The Eagles struggled early in the game relative to how they've played in the second half. I think they rolled that momentum right into this thing against the Panthers. And look, we've had questions about teams like the Chiefs and teams like the Buccaneers with these close games against the Panthers. I believe in this Philadelphia Eagles team a lot, so much so that I'm going to pick them 12.5 point, favorites in this game. That's a huge number, but the Eagles should dominate this football game at home.
Does Saquon break the rushing record? That's the question. And the answer to that is he has a real shot because they play in their last 6 games, I think 4 of those teams are bottom of the run defense rankings in the league. So he's going to have many opportunities to do that.
If he does that, is he the MVP?
It depends. Right now, Josh Allen's the MVP.
You agree, Kyle?
Yes.
Okay. Still not a running back fan over there, Pete Prisco.
No, the guy's great, and he's been phenomenal, but Josh Allen would be the MVP.
All right, let's move on to the Saints and Giants. I mean, there's not much to say about this game other than if you pick it right, you win some money.
Rizzler
The
game.
Rizzler.
This is a Rizzler game.
He finally lost a game.
This is a Rizzler get-back game.
Yeah?
So you're taking the Saints.
I'm going to be taking the Saints, man. -4.5, that's the Giants. Come on now.
You know what? There's an old rule of thumb when picking these games. If you have 2 teams that stink, take the one who's sitting at home waiting for the other stink to show up. So I'm going to take the Giants sitting at home.
And by the way, the other stink to show up.
And by the way, if you go to New Jersey, sometimes that stink is right there by the stadium.
I think it just stinks.
So it doesn't. It smells over there all the time. So I'm going to take the Giants at home.
Jeez, we really did not pump that game up very much, but it's not our game, so we don't have to, right? Those are the picks for those early games, the 1 p.m. Eastern time games. Can't wait for next week. Another huge game in the NFL, and we've got it on CBS. The NFL Today crew will be live in Detroit as the Bills come to town in a potential Super Bowl preview. Up next, we'll have the late games on Sunday, including the Seahawks alone in first in that crowded NFC West. Happy to go to Arizona to take on Kyler Murray and the Cards, who are only a game back. Got a few more games to pick, presented by FanDuel. Only 3 late afternoon games on Sunday. We've got one on CBS. Seahawks and Cardinals. And that game's big in that NFC West race. Rams are right there, too. They're tied with the Cardinals at 6-6, a game behind the Seahawks. They're at home against the Buffalo Bills, who are going cross-country. Bears going to San Francisco, actually Santa Clara, as 3.5-point dogs. Sportsline, 72% chance 49ers win, as we showed you earlier. Let's pick them, starting with that CBS game, 4:05 Eastern. This is big. I mean, Seahawks can start to create a little bit of a cushion. We have not seen that from any team yet this season in this division.
By the way, remember last week I said the sandwich game, it would be a sandwich game. The sandwich went rotten because the Jets blew that game, but the theory was correct. I was right. They should have won that game. Seattle didn't look great in that game, but they did rally and come back. Got to give them all the credit in the world. This is a tough turnaround when you beat them at home and now you got to go to their place after playing a long distance trip as well. So I think this is a tough turnaround. I'll take Arizona. Their defense didn't look as great last week, but I think they're good on that side of the ball. Last time they played, they did a nice job. They both did. Both defenses played well in that game. I think Murray plays better in this game. I'll take the Cardinals.
How about we just slide to Leonard Williams, okay? Because every time I look up, this guy is running somebody over, and he's in the lap of the quarterback.
He's great.
They got bullied up there in Seattle by that defensive front. I think that they do have a better game plan. Obviously, Seattle, a tough place to play. You're at home at Arizona now. I'm going to be picking the Cardinals, although I do think, what is it? Cardinals. How did I word it earlier?
You said Seattle would win, Cardinals would cover. So you think it's going to be a 1 or 2?
I think it's going to be a walk-off. It'll be a walk-off in Arizona.
Walk-off field goal to win it by
1 or 2?
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I like
so
that call.
You got the Seahawks covering, but Cardinals winning. And
yep.
So if that happens, Cardinals and Seahawks would be tied atop the division.
That hurt my brain
the Cardinals' schedule is favorable, and the Seahawks' schedule is not going forward.
And then the Rams would have an opportunity if they could beat the Bills to make it a 3-way tie for first in that division. They're 4.5-point home favorites against Buffalo, Pete.
Yeah, and I just think that when you look at this Bills team, they're on a roll, and they know it, they feel it, they sense it, they're enjoying it, and I thought that when I was there in the summer, and I thought it would carry over, and it's carried over the entire season. I love the way they play. We haven't seen the best of them yet either, because when they got Amari Cooper, you had guys going out. Kincaid's been out, Keon Coleman was hurt. They've only played 1 game together. When they get playing together with the ability to run the ball and play that style of football that they do now, and Josh Allen taking care of the football, I think this team is special, and I think they go out there and win this game and cover the number.
My non-football opinion about this, as a guy who played in a cold weather city, is when you get to go to these West Coast teams late in the season, it almost feels like a mini bye. I mean, you still go play a game, but you get that vitamin D, you get that sunshine, it's warm in the morning, you go get coffee, you feel good. This almost is like a get-right game mentally for these guys before they have to go back to the Great White North in Buffalo, New York. I just think the Bills' role here, like you said, big people. They have a lot of big people. They got rushers. They've got the biggest quarterback in the National Football League. They're pretty scary right now.
They better be playing good right now because they've got the Rams, and then that's when they go to Detroit next week.
Yep.
A potential Super Bowl preview.
Yeah, and you know what? Normally you'd sit here and say they clinched the division, they might lack some, but they're playing for much bigger than that.
1 game behind the Chiefs.
Yep.
Need to keep winning. Let's go to another Midwest North team going out west to San Francisco, Santa Clara. It's the Bears at 49ers, and after all these weeks of suffering, Kyle thinks this is where the Bears finally get off the old schneid.
Well, I think we got rid of the guy that was causing a lot of these. You know, we're flipping the L's to W's. It comes down to coaching in these one-possession games, one-score games. The coaching, more often than not, is the key determining factor. Thomas Brown in there now. At least I know he'll be able to bang a timeout if they need it. I love the way Caleb Williams is playing. This team now, with the old head coach out, the interim in there, they're proving to everybody in that building who wants to be there next year. And I think the first audition is this week in San Francisco.
Matt Eberflus at the end of games.
Yeah.
He's glazed over.
He reminds me of the coach from Waterboy. Remember?
Yeah. He froze up. It's 2 games. It cost him his job. It was coaching malpractice. He deserved to be fired. End of the Washington game and the end of that game. He deserved to be fired. What he did was coaching malpractice, and you should never be standing on the sideline.
Well, then there was the Packers game in between where he just runs out.
Don't forget, we were supposed to beat the Packers and the Lions and the Vikings. Okay, that's running the table. Yeah, we. You want to see my jacket? You want me to take this jacket off right here at the desk? This jacket's got.
Whoa.
I'm taking the whole thing off. I'm taking the whole thing off.
Oh my God.
I got the Bears. Okay, I got the Bears this week. Okay, there you go. Bear down, Prisco.
You're on our team now. You're on our team.
All right, Pete, take your jacket off. Let's see the Jaguar on the inside of yours.
No, we're on the same team now.
I got to figure out how to get my mic back on.
We're on the same team now. By the way, I'm taking the 49ers, even though he got the shovel out. He put him in the hole. He already buried him, not just for this year, for the rest of their life. He buried the 49ers. Will never win again. I'm taking the 49ers. I'm not taking the Bears.
I can't wait to call you during this one.
I know you can't. You'll be on the plane.
All right, let's pick in every game against the spread. It is now time for best bets.
No.
We call them Prisco's picks.
But I don't know why you do. You should call them Kyle Long's picks. And by the way, I sent mine in this week, and I said do I have to on the bottom when I pick them?
You're under 500 now. You're still not as bad as the producers at 4-9. Look at me. I've won 4 straight. And give me some credit.
You're on a hot streak, Chris.
Give me some props.
You must be copying Kyle's paper then.
No, we don't.
Chris has gotten hot here.
He has gotten hot.
Kyle, 11-2. I'm 8-5. Pete, we'll give you the honors since it's called Prisco's Picks. What do you like?
And by the way, we were talking about the Cardinals game. You had that all backward. If you think Seattle's going to win the game, they can't because they're getting.
No. Arizona's going to win. Seattle's going to cover.
Oh,
are you mansplaining betting
you
to
picked
Kyle?
the Cardinals as your pick.
My brain doesn't work that well. It's going to be a 1-point game. The Cardinals will win the game at home.
Well, your pick is the Cardinals.
Tell the people at home. Tell them what my pick is. Tell them what my pick is.
His pick is the Cardinals -2.5, but he thinks Seattle's going to win the game.
No, I confused everybody.
How does that work?
I'll send a tweet out with my final pick.
Okay, what is your final pick?
Arizona.
-2.5. So you don't think Seattle. You picked Arizona -2.5. You said Seattle's going to win the game.
I need to see you in your office.
Okay. You're going to show me another jacket?
Yeah, whoa.
You're going to show me a Chiefs jacket?
I need some further explanation on how this works.
Okay, all right. I'm taking my best bet is the Cardinals. That's why I'm going back to that game -2.5. They are giving Seattle 2.5.
So the Cardinals have to win by 3 or more.
Right, correct.
For the Cardinals
to be the pick. So I got the Cardinals.
My best bet, the Chicago Bears, +3.5 points in the Bay Area. Bear down.
We finally have figured out why his record is so good. He has no idea what the hell he's doing. He's just picking teams.
I'm picking games.
It's like when the little kids fill out the March Madness
And they
brackets.
just win.
They just pick it off the mascot. 11-2, best bets, whatever.
Don't worry about it.
What was your pick? Bears +3.5.
Bears
against the
+3.5.
49ers. You're all in on that.
He didn't love it, by the way. He was trying to change it at one point.
I would have changed it to the
Jack, our
Bucks.
producers, shamed him into keeping it.
Not too bad, though.
It feels like he loves it now with the jacket and all that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Chargers +3.5 against the Chiefs. You guys, I know, are on the Chiefs side. I just, every week, it's like the Chiefs are barely getting by,
You're bucking the back-to-back roadies.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the back-to-back road thing a huge thing, Kyle?
Is Taylor Swift going to be there?
I'm sure she will be.
Chiefs.
By more than 3?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Well, if it's 100%, it should be your best bet. Chargers +3.5.
He's getting all mad that we shot down his best bet.
Well, you guys are going to be wrong. I've won 4 or 5.
You're on a heater.
Producer's pick? Bills -4.5 at the Rams.
Wow.
I like that pick.
Who made that pick? That's what I want to know.
Who made the pick?
That might be Jack.
Janita made the pick.
Janita.
All right, Janita.
Put her in charge back there.
They need a win as much as I need a win.
They do need a win.
Yep.
Badly. Pete is going with the Cardinals -2.5 against the Seahawks.
-2.5.
Yes. -2.5. Kyle's got the Bears. You got the Bears. Don't you have the Bears winning outright, too? I mean, don't you think the Bears are going to win the game?
Yeah, money line.
Well, yeah.
Money line, Kyle.
Money line Kyle. He
We need to
buried
get
the
Amanda
49ers.
back in here. She could do one of those teasers.
Do we have to?
Tommy does a teaser every Sunday. He had the Titans in it like I did last week.
I've got
2
Chargers
fools.
+3.5 in Kansas City, and the producers like the Bills -4.5 in LA against the Rams.